come and help us. Please, come and help us. These were the words that accompanied a vision received as long ago as 1994. In the vision was a map of Europe. All along the border of the former communist states, the Iron Curtain, was a line of people calling and waving. Out of this vision, a team was formed. First as part of the LL East base in Hungary, and later drawn from other nations of Central and Eastern Europe. This team is following the mission proclaimed in Isaiah 61 verses 1 to 7, preaching the gospel, binding up the broken-hearted, setting captives free, and repairing the ruins, the spiritual ruins of the former communist world. 2 or 3 generations of official atheism and oppression of the church have had a devastating spiritual effect on individuals, families, and whole nations. It has been our privilege and joy to see God's healing and restoration break into these dark areas, changing lives, healing families, and affecting whole cities and nations. In 2006, the Regional Nations team at LL East officially became a new LL Ministries Centre, the Regional Nations Centre. We're from many countries: Ukrainians, Russians, Romanians, American, British, and Hungarians. We have an office at Oretje, but actually we are a centre without walls, working out of 4 different countries and ministering to an area covering 11 time zones, halfway around the world. Our mission field is the whole of the former communist world in Eastern Europe, the Russian Federation, and Central Europe, apart from Hungary itself. The basis of our ministry is to serve local churches by training people who will set up prayer ministry teams. We have a basic 6-day course, Answering Christ's Call, which we sometimes describe as training in spiritual first aid, the kind of prayer that takes place after church services or in house groups. For deeper level prayer ministry training, we have longer residential schools lasting up to 8 weeks. The same training is also available as a modular school, 2 days a month for up to 2 years, or as a video school. In 1998, we held our first Russian language ministry school, 8 weeks of training in a suburb of Kiev, Ukraine. Of those first 50 students, many now form part of the Ukrainian ministry team that we can call upon for events such as schools, conferences, and ministry days. Based on the teaching and ministry that they received, they have set up prayer ministry teams in their own churches. This school has been very successful over the years. March 2007 saw the completion of our 11th Russian language long-term residential ministry school, this time in the small Ukrainian town of Zhovty Vody. Another 30 pastors and leaders are now equipped to bring God's healing love into churches throughout that country. Other Russian language long-term schools have been in the Russian Northern Caucasus area and the far east of Russia, sometimes in difficult conditions, but the ministry of healing continues to spread. Regular video schools are taught and presented by trained members of our Russian-speaking team in Ukraine and Russia. The teaching is on DVD, and there are trained teams who present the teaching, give student assignments, answer questions, and pray with the students. Each month, the video schools touch the life of many church congregations, and there are ministry days following each school where students can have their own times of healing and restoration. The work in Romania has a long history too. There have been 5 longer residential ministry schools in Romanian held at the LL East base at Oradea, and we now have an experienced Romanian ministry team for work in that country. There have been several shorter courses in Romania, and now we teach a weekend modular school each month in the city of Cluj-Napoca, where up to 100 people are receiving training in ministry as well as knowing God's healing in their own life. In Slovakia, we are teaching the longer ministry school in 1-week segments, following several presentations of the shorter ministry training. For this school, we use a beautiful restored castle in a small village owned by a Slovak Christian mission. The students at the school in Slovakia come from different ethnic and religious backgrounds. Half of the students are Roman Catholic, and half are from independent Protestant churches. Some are Slovak, some are ethnic Hungarian, and some are Roma. Praise God, none of these differences have any effect on our school. There is a wonderful sense of unity, which brings real blessing. Our work is not restricted just to these countries. In 2006, we were given a prophetic word of explosion. And that is just what is happening as the work expands. God is taking us to many new countries, as well as expanding the present work. In 2007, we will continue the work in Russia with shorter ministry courses in Vladivostok and in Kemerovo, Siberia. We made a preparatory visit to Armenia in 2006. Many Armenians speak Russian, and we have had 20 Armenians at our Russian language schools. However, this is a country in a very strategic position, bordered on 3 sides by Islamic nations. In 2007, we will teach the 6-day basic ministry school for Armenian pastors and leaders. As we teach with translation into Armenian, we will also be translated into Farsi, the language of western areas of Iran. There will be Christians from Iran at the school who will be returning to their own country afterwards. There could be amazing results. Later in the year, we have plans for a week of teaching in Estonia. The contact came through Estonian students at one of our Russian schools. At the same school, we had students from Belarus, and we are planning a school there in the autumn. Belarus is not an easy country, and we need much prayer for the preparations and for the school itself. Our most exotic destination will be Mongolia. We will be there for a week on the way back from Vladivostok. Once again, we will be teaching on prayer ministry to local pastors and leaders. As we live in this time of explosion, we know that the work has to be supported by constant prayer. We are so grateful to God for those who uphold us regularly in this way. As a team, we travel to many places that can be difficult for Christians, but we are always aware of God's presence and the faithful prayers of our supporters. It is our privilege to see amazing things happen in the life of God's people around the world. Here are some testimonies from the far east of Russia.
Я благодарен Господу, учителям и Зиле Сестер за то, что я имел возможность учиться в LL Ministries. Учеба в LL Ministries — это как катание на американских горках. Сначала поднимаешься на высокие высоты Божьи, а потом опускаешься на глубины Божьи. И так постоянно в течение всего этого времени, которое мы проводили здесь. Благодарю и желаю, чтобы многие люди, которые служат и хотят служить Богу, могли получить это учение.
Most of all, we thank God for allowing us to bring His healing to the Church, the bride of Christ. As we train ministry teams for local churches across Central and Eastern Europe and the Russian Federation, we are helping to prepare a pure and spotless bride for the return of Jesus. And as we minister to individuals in our schools and elsewhere, we see Isaiah 61 coming to life before our eyes, to the praise and glory of Jesus.